Alright. So, quick recap. This is mini lesson on writing parallel and perpendicular line equations. Like I said, this is a kind of a extension of what we did yesterday with the slopes of parallel and perpendicular lines. So a lot of stuff is going to feel familiar already to you. So this warm-up section up here we started said parallel lines have the same slope, while perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slopes. Given the graph, slope is found by blank over blank. What over what? There it is. Rise over run. And if you're given points, we find slope by slope formula. I know we didn't use the actual term slope formula yesterday, but that's what it is, the slope formula. M equals y2 over y1. I mean y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Given the equation in slope intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, where the slope is m and the y-intercept is b. We know all these things already. Let's go down here and figure out how to write some equations for parallel and perpendicular lines. Stay with me too, because it's not that hard, and I'm not going to move fast though. I'm going to talk slow. Write an equation in slope-intercept form that is parallel or perpendicular to the given line. Make sure you identify the slope. The first and most important thing that you should do is identify your slope. So on this first one, number 1, it says parallel to, and sometimes it'll be as simple as them writing something like this. And before we even do these, I want you to understand 1, 2, 3, and 4, they're all asking us to do pretty much the same thing. It's just that we word each one differently because we want y'all to see the problems in different kind of ways. Because we've noticed from past, if we show you something one way, and if they ask a problem a little bit differently, y'all ain't gonna know what to do because you're gonna act like it's a whole totally different problem, even though it's the same thing. So to kind of, I guess, mitigate that at the beginning, we like to throw stuff at y'all in all different kind of ways. But all 4 of these problems are asking you to do the same thing: write an equation to be either a parallel or perpendicular line. So in this first one, it says parallel to y equals 2 plus 6x passing through 1, negative 3. This is probably the shortest way they could write it because they just didn't even write a full sentence. They just kind of stated stuff. Down here you'll see a full sentence written when we read it later. But so what they're telling you to do is write a line that's parallel to this line right here, and the line that's going to be parallel to this line, it has to pass through this point 1, negative 3. If that's the case, then I'll know things about that line. Alright, so things that I'm looking for. First thing I want to know is my slope of this line. They said the lines are parallel. I'm going to indicate that for myself. I just always do it with my parallel symbol. So I know my slope M is going to be the same as the slope of the first line. One thing you should notice up here, they wrote this slope-intercept form equation out of order. You can switch it around and make it look like how it should look. Y equals 6x plus 2. You can flip that around if you want, make it look cleaner. And then from there, Amanda, what's my slope of the first line? 6. So since my slope is 6 and they tell me the line is going to be parallel that I'm creating an equation for, I'm going to use 6 for that equation too. So I'm going to say my new slope is going to be 6 as well because it's parallel. Things that I need. I have to write an equation of a line, I need M and then I need B. B, they don't give me that. This 2 right here is the B for the first line. I can't use the same B because if that's the case, then I'm talking about the same exact line. That's pointless. You know, you have to find your B on your other line. To find the B on the other line, you're going to use the other stuff that they gave you. They didn't give you B for the other line, the y-intercept, but they did tell you a certain point that this line passes through. This parallel line that we're about to write an equation for passes through the point 1, negative 3. So I want you to see something before we use it. The slope-intercept form equation in just in variable form says y equals mx plus b. We need to know what b is for our new equation. But right now, we know what m is, which would be 6. To find b, since I don't know what b is, if I had these other two variables right here, I could solve for b. Well, guess what? I do. I have a point that's on the line that I'm about to create, 1, -3. And this point is an x and a y. 1 is x, -3 is y. I can use all that in this equation and solve for b. So I'm going to label up here for you. This is my x, this is my y. I'm going to even write it down here on my side with my other stuff. X equals for me 1, y equals for me -3. So out of my equation, I got 3 out of the 4 parts. I got m, I got x, and I got y. I just need to solve for b. The plus sign is not a variable, obviously. So plugging in, I'm going to say -3, because that's what they told me my y point was. Time equals m, which is 6, times, that's m times x, so times 1 plus b. This is how I was set up to solve for my y-intercept on my other line. Then from there I would just solve. 6 times 1 right here, it's going to give me just 6. Bring down plus b, bring down -3. Then after that, I need to subtract 6 here, subtract 6 here, cancels. -9 equals b. So now I know what b equals. B equals -9. Now that I know those two things, m and b, Amanda help me use these two things right here and write an equation for this line. Y equals 6x minus 9. This will be the equation of my parallel line to the line y equals 6x plus 2. This is what we're going to be asking y'all to do. Don't mess up my recording. Number 2, perpendicular to y equals -0.4 plus 2/3 passing through 2/8. So on this one, it's telling me my line is going to be perpendicular to this equation right here, or this line. So I need to find my m first. Before I do that, looking at my slope, on this one, my slope is in decimal form. I can't leave it like that. I need my slope in fraction form first before I do anything with it. This one is -0.4. How do I convert that to a fraction? I can't hear you. Yes. Take that decimal 4, take the decimal off, put -4, divide by 10. Why are we divided by 10, Austin? Because the -0.4 is in the tenths place. Y'all gonna get 0.25 and point other stuff on your work that you get from me. If it's in the hundreds place, put it over 100. I seen somebody today when we got ready to do the work, they did 25/10. That's not how you write a fraction. If it's 0.25, you got to do hundreds. If it's 0.4 or 0.5, something like that, you do the tenths place. It's not that hard to figure out. Then from there, we need to reduce this. You should be writing this down too. I got mad because this part right here, some kids weren't even writing it down. Y'all think y'all don't need to know how to do a fraction to a decimal? I mean, a decimal to a fraction. And then you get to they asking me for help when we get to the practice, and they're like, "Oh, what do I do with the fraction?" I'm like, "Well, where's the example from the notes?" Oh, I didn't write that down. I told y'all about that. When you reduce it often, what you get? -2/5. Okay. So what this is telling me is -2/5 is equivalent to -0.4. It's just my fraction form of that slope, which I need. So since my original slope was -2/5, Austin, what's my perpendicular slope going to be? What's my perpendicular slope for my perpendicular line going to be? Oh, Emily's hand went up. That's parallel. Emily, go ahead. 5/2. Because you did what, Emily? Opposite reciprocal, meaning she flipped and changed the sign. This is when you need to make the adjustment. On perpendicular lines, y'all need to understand y'all need to flip and change the sign. If you don't, you're going to get your answers wrong. Alright, so 5/2 is my slope that I'm using. I don't know what B is. That's what I want to find. X, they gave me up top there. You don't really have to label it. You just pull it. X was 2. Y was 8. So I'm going to use those in my slope-intercept form equation. Y equals mx plus b. My y is 8. M is 5/2. X is 2, and then plus b. So issue I thought I didn't have to teach y'all, but I guess I do. I thought it wasn't a real issue teaching y'all how to multiply a fraction times a whole number, so I kind of slacked up on it on the last class, but I shouldn't have. When you get to this point, you're doing 5/2 times 2. I was noticing that kids in the other class, they were multiplying the top by 2 and the bottom by 2. You know that's not how you multiply a fraction times a whole number, right? That's not how you do that. If you don't understand, the best thing for you to do is put a 1 under that whole number, make it a fraction too, and then understand that you're just multiplying straight across. 5 times 2 on top, and then 2 times 1 on the bottom. When you do it, you're going to get 8 equals 10/2 plus b. And then simplifying that, 8 equals 5 plus b. And then you need to subtract 5. Cancels. B equals 3. So my value for B is 3. And then we need to write an equation. Emily, go ahead and write this equation for us when you get a chance. What's up, so? I saw you email. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Probably need to let Ms. Clark know, because I think she's going to call her too. Probably want to email Ms. Clark and let her know, because I think she's going to call too. Because I sent it to her. Oh, you applied to everybody? Oh, okay, so we good. We good then. Okay. Emily, what's the equation? Yeah. Y equals 5/2x plus 3. Don't forget the x. If you typing these in on the computer when you take the test, if you forget the x, we are going to mark you wrong. It'd be a shame to do all this work and forget to type in the x and then get it wrong. We're going to practice ahead of time, though, because we know that's an issue that y'all have. Because you actually, when you take ELC, you have to type these in, too. Number 3. So it's like I said, same question, just asked a different kind of way. It says provide an equation that is perpendicular, they use a symbol this time, to y equals 2/3x minus 1, passing through 0, 6. Be sure to have your equation in slope-intercept form. So this time they wrote it all the way out instead of just crudely just saying what they wanted you to do. On this one, first thing, our equation is already in slope-intercept form, so we're good. We just need to identify that they want a perpendicular line equation. That's the case. Then, Naisa, what's the slope of our perpendicular line going to be? A little bit louder. That would make it parallel. So that would make it neither. Say it all the way out again. Negative 3 over 2. This is the slope we want to use. We don't know what B is. We have our X and our Y for our other line, which is 0 and 6. Then we want to do the work. So in this one, Y equals MX plus B. Plug it in. 6 equals negative 3 over 2 times 0 plus B. Nice. So what's negative 3 over 2 times 0? Yeah, 0 plus B. And then you can't subtract that, add 0. You can just drop that off. 6 equals B. So 6. Nice. So since you started this one, you might as well finish. What equation you gonna write? You gonna get it wrong. What I just told you on the last one. You left something out. I swear, y'all ain't gonna believe how many of y'all gonna forget to write X. I don't know why y'all forget the X, but number 4 says create an equation in slope-intercept form that is parallel to 4x plus 2y equals 7, passing through 4, negative 2. So in this one, we're doing a parallel equation, so we just need a parallel slope. But what do you notice about this? Somebody besides Austin. Somebody besides Emily. Oh, okay, Amanda, go ahead. God, I'm sorry, I'm getting a signal, so everything coming in. What's up? Well, it's in order. It's not in what form? Slope-intercept form. It's in standard form right now. We need it in slope-intercept. So tell me how to get it to slope-intercept form. I'll do whatever you tell me if my phone stops going off. Oh my God. Come on, man. All during the video. This is going to be a bad video. Back to this. What you was telling me to do, Amanda? Subtract just the 4? Well, I'm saying, y'all always tell me to subtract 4. Y'all need to tell me to subtract the whole thing, 4x. Y'all be confusing me. Because you got some kids that just subtract 4 and not know the whole thing come over. Cancels, and then when I rewrite, it's going to be what now, you said? Man, I'm asking you. Yeah, you doing this one with me. 2y equals what now? I'm going to switch mine around. I hate that y'all put the 7 in front. But if you want to do it that way, that's fine. Alright, dividing by 2. Cancels. Y equals -4 to x divided by 2, -2x. Over here, 7 divided by 2, you're going to get a decimal, so just leave it as 7/2. We don't need that part anyway. That's our y-intercept for our first line. We're going to have a new y-intercept for our second line anyway, so we don't have to worry about that one. So now, Amanda, we good to go. They said parallel. What's our slope for our new line? -2. We don't know b. X is 4. Y is -2. Y equals mx plus b. I'm going to throw that down. -2 equals -2 times 4 plus b. So -2 times 4, -8 plus b. Add 8. Cancels. -2 plus 8, 6 equals b. So Amanda, whenever you're ready. That's what we've been doing.
So y equals -2x plus 6.
Thank you. So the back is home learning, but there's one problem on the back I want to show you. Just because. So you saw how all of those for us on the front, even though we had fractions at a certain point in our equation, they worked out to be whole numbers. There's a couple times where y'all gonna run into a situation where it doesn't work out to be a whole number, your b. If that's the case, and you'll notice because on the front, there's at a certain point, all our stuff like, well, this one up top. When we multiply by 2/1, we got 10/2, that became 5. Was it another one we did with a fraction? This one, we just times by 0 and it just became 0. So we didn't have to worry about the fraction anymore. There's going to be a time after you multiply by that x, whatever that x value is, that you're still going to have a fraction. And if that's the case, that means you're going to either have to add or subtract a fraction to the other side of your equation. Sometimes it gets a little murky with y'all when y'all have to add and subtract fractions, because that's when y'all get into having to find a common denominator and then having to get the other fraction to look the same, and then you have to subtract. It becomes a lot for y'all. I found that the easier way to do it is to do fraction buster if you run into that situation. But I don't know, some kids find it easier, some kids don't. But I'm going to show you what I would do if you run into that situation on this one. Number 4, specifically. Number 4, a line parallel to y equals 2/5x minus 3 passing through 1, -1. So on this one, they're telling me they want a line parallel to this line. It's already in slope-intercept form, so my slope that I should use is what? I guess I should ask somebody. Celicia, what's my slope that I should? Oh, why y'all let me do that? I wrote the perpendicular sign. That should tighten me up. Parallel, my bad. This is parallel. Two over 5. We don't know b. Our x is 1. Our y is -1. I'm gonna have to write a little smaller too. I don't know why we don't give enough space for y'all to solve this in here. My bad. And I may have to go to the side on my equations, so you're gonna have to bear with me. So it's y equals mx plus b. My y value is -1 equals m, which is 2/5. X is 1 plus b. I'm going to zoom in too. So this is where we're running the issue at. So after we simplify this, you're going to get -1 equals, over here is 2/5 times 1. Y'all should know 2/5 times 1 is just going to be 2/5. And then bring down the plus b. At this point, you would have to subtract that 2/5 to the other side of the equation. And then you would have to get common denominators, all that stuff. What I'm saying is, you may want to take the route of doing what's called fraction buster. Just getting rid of the 5 on the bottom of all of it and solving that way. So to get rid of the 5 off the 2, you would just make these other two terms, this -1, make it a fraction, make b a fraction as well too. And then for there, I would just make everything a common denominator of 5 real quick by multiplying. Everything gets multiplied by 5 except for this fraction, because we don't need to change this one. We're just trying to change these two. So times 5 here, times 5 here, times 5 here, everything gets hit with a 5. I'm going to rewrite it up here, change to, because I'm running out of space. I'm going to go over here, up here, it'll be -5/5 equals 2/5 plus 5 times b is 5b/5. All I did was just change it so everything has a 5 under it. Once I do that, I can drop all these 5s. Since everything is the same with the same denominator, I can drop all these 5s at the bottom. And I can just rewrite this equation as -5 equals 2 plus 5b. And I can solve that. That's me getting rid of the fractions. And now I can just solve a two-step equation. From there, subtract 2, cancels, leaves me with -7 equals 5b, and once again I've run out of space, so I'm going to have to move this up here. -7 equals 5b, I'm just writing the same thing again, and then I need to divide by 5, divide by 5, divide by 5, cancels. Over here we get -7 divided by 5. I'm going to have to keep that as a fraction. Equals b. So my b on this one is -7 divided by 5. My m was 2/5. For 4, 5, and 6, these ones on the homework, and we only say 4 and 5, but it's really 4, 5, and 6. We give you multiple choice answers out here to the right. There's only one answer for each one. Which one would be the correct answer for number 4 now that we found B? Same 3 people all day, huh? Nobody else? Luis? What? C. Yeah. You should see that C is the right answer for number 4. But this is it. And you won't run into this situation often, so I don't want y'all to get worried. Like, the practice that y'all got today, you don't even have to do this fraction buster thing. Once you do your multiplication, all of your fractions are going to come out clean, or to whole numbers. It's just every once in a while you'll run into one like this, where you'll probably have to do this. But I just want to show you what that looks like. All right. Let me stop this. Well, let me try to stop it. Emily, duck real quick. Thank you. Duck your head. Hold on, I'm trying to stop the video. Jonah, duck your head. You ain't gotta go that far down, huh? Oh, there you go.